What's happening, guys? I know a lot of you have been asking about revenue management, about growing the business, about PPC optimization. Today, I'm really excited to announce a new service, and this is being offered by Oleg, the co-founder of aMazal. He actually runs aMazal, if you're familiar with that tool as well. But this is going to be all about revenue management. So we're not only focusing on PPC optimization, on lowering ACoS, but in terms of boosting the business's revenue and ultimate gross profit. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. This tool or service is called aNavigator. And Oleg, I just want to thank you for joining us on the channel. And before we jump in, if you just want to introduce yourself, introduce exactly what aNavigator is all about, I think everyone here is going to be really excited to hear more.
Thank you, Dan. It's my pleasure to be here on your channel. I know you have a very beautiful community of people that serious about building the Amazon brands. And just short introduction, I started my Amazon journey back in 2015, and it was quite successful. Eventually, I sold my brand, and I've been helping many Amazon sellers on aMazal and now with aNavigator. And what we do, because everybody know like PPC management, we do PPC management as well, but it's a small part. What we do, we care about the revenue and the profit, because most of the PPC services, they're good. I'm not against it, but they focus on KPIs that not relevant to you as a business owner. So for me, it's a PPC is just a tool that helps me to increase revenue and eventually profit of my business.
Awesome, Oleg. And then you've spoken to me a lot about how your focus is on conversion, on pricing, and then also on PPC. And specifically not focusing on just getting a low ACoS. So can you explain a bit to everyone why it's not so important to focus on that low ACoS, that it's more important to focus on your conversion, pricing, PPC, and ultimately boosting revenue and gross profit? Can you just explain why that's so important?
Sure, absolutely. I prepare some chart that I want to dive in, because this brings the whole picture of revenue management in general, and it's been invented, I think, back in 70s. It's a bulletproof system. It's created by Boston Consulting Group, and they call it revenue growth matrix. And the concept is very simple. So this is a growth, this is a market share. It's from zero, like growing. And when you launch a new product, when you start a new niche or new brand on Amazon, you start here. It's like question mark, okay? Your market share is zero and you're not growing. And what important on this stage, this is exactly what you mentioned, is the conversion. Okay, basically the conversion, it's a pure indicator if the product you brought to Amazon is good enough, and you measure it by conversion. And if you don't measure a conversion, I totally understand you, because it's very hard. Okay, and it's inside of business reports, and it's not easy to do. If you hit the conversion and some people buy it, you start to go into this stage. Still, your market share is very small, but you start growing. You put some PPC, you put some giveaways, and you start to get some organic sales, and it looks like the business is growing. And it's relatively easy to get to this stage, because this is just the beginning. You just push. Still, your competitors doesn't see you much, so they don't complain on all these fake trademarks or whatever. All these things that you don't want to meet. But what's important on this stage is all about keywords and strategy. You try to understand the strategy, how you can conquer all this market, because Amazon is a search engine, so it's all about keywords. And can you get to most important keyword is the niche, can you get to the long tail, and you have to check all of them. This is actually the nice time to play with the pricing. This is a stage that you check the price elasticity, like how market responds to your pricing strategy. Maybe you can be very luxury, or you have to be low, because in many overcrowded niches you have to be low priced, otherwise you just. And the next stage, this is a stage everyone wants to get there. They call it cash cow. This is where you started to gain the market share. You became a visible top 3, top 5, top 10 at least player in the niche, hopefully bestseller. This is where you want to go. And here it's all about profit. Okay? And I think this is a stage where you really start to care about ACoS, because on those stages ACoS is irrelevant metrics to check daily. But here you want to still optimize profit, but again you do a trade-off of ACoS and market share. We call it over-optimization of PPC, because many sellers, they try to lower the ACoS, but what they do eventually is they start to lose the market share, and they get back to this phase and losing all the profit eventually. You want to keep this stage as long as possible, and what you eventually, every product, whatever good you're doing, it's going to this stage. They call it dog.
What type of dog is this?
Okay, so you still have your market share, but you're not growing anymore, and all your competitors, they start to be visible on like top searches, and you going organically lower and lower. Usually at this stage you start to lose your profit. Okay, and the good idea is stop this product and start the new one. Just to be clear, it's not have to be like different niche, absolutely different product. It could be more or less the same, but new package, new bundle, new like 2-pack, 3-pack, 6-pack, things like this. And it's like just another offer. You already know this market, you already know this niche, all the keywords, so it will be much easier to start different things. And this is the concept of revenue management. You start from the question mark. This is the longest part. Okay, it takes most of the time before you build your reviews and find the right images and right text and everything. You do all the experiments. Sometimes it can be like half a year. This part of the journey is the most expensive one, because you have to push a lot of your advertisement budget and giveaways and PPC and all different tactics to measure and then see what's working and what's not working. And this is where the profit's coming. If you don't really understand this concept, you try to squeeze profit here or here, you end up just, unhappy and disappointed about all this Amazon FBA. But it's not about Amazon FBA, it's a general rule of any business. You start, like, you check, do you fit the market? How can I convert it? And then you start to be profitable. So this is it. PPC is just a tool, and ACoS is one of the metrics most important for this stage. And I can talk about it forever.
I love it, Oleg. And I like that you mentioned this is an overall principle. Because it is something I even studied in my degree. I remember it was this matrix. So it's something used by really big companies. And I love to see those strategies being moved into our exact business model. But you spoke here, especially at the question mark stage, where we're talking about conversion rate and really optimizing that. And I think that's so critical. I mean, that's why we speak about differentiating. That's why we speak about building your listing up, because we need that to convert. That's how we're going to move from the question mark stage. So how exactly do you look to evaluate conversion rate for an ASIN? And how can sellers actually use that information? Once I know my conversion rate, whether it's high or low or in the middle, and how do I use that information moving forward? So if you could show us that, with a conversion graph or similar, something you use in aNavigator and what sellers could expect.
Let me share a case study. It will be very clear indication. So this is a very good example of what you can do with conversion. Let me explain. Basically, we have this green line, It's an organic conversion, at how your listing converts organically. And orange line is how your listing converts by PPC, okay? And in this specific case, we influence on change of conversion by changing the price. It's the easiest one. All the listing optimization, images, videos, review manipulation, everything you do, it's all about, your goal is to increase the conversion, but you have to measure it. As you can see on this specific example, the average conversion is about 10%, and in most cases is relatively low. Again, there are some niches that this can be okay. So we did the research in this case, and we lowered the price from 27 to like 21, and you see the conversion just jump from 10 to almost 20% organically, okay? And after a few weeks of the experiment, the owner of the brand, she said, okay, yeah, I want my price back. And when price back, the conversion going down again. From different perspectives, this is a volume of chart. So again, the blue line is the most important. It's units per day. So before we change the price and basically we change the conversion, it was 10, sometimes 13, sometimes 5 items a day. But when we change the conversion here, the volume jumped to almost like 30, 35 items a day. To another chart from the absolutely same case, it's profitability. These blue bars is daily total profit, okay? On the left scale. So before it was sometimes $50 a day, sometimes negative, but when we improve the conversion, it started to go up to 200 some days, but at least 100 most of the days.
Yeah, and Oleg, I think it's important here to note as well that this is inside aNavigator. Like, this is what your clients can see. This is what you're actually using to improve the business. So if you guys do join up with aNavigator, say you're a bit ahead in your business, you really want to start optimizing, these are the graphs you're going to see for your business. These are the things that Oleg and his team are going to be looking at to optimize certain ASINs. This is what you're going to be able to also log in and see yourself. So you have kind of both options there. You will be able to see this, but they're also managing this for you. But I just wanted to emphasize that so people don't think you're just showing like random graphs. These are actually from aNavigator. This is what's inside that dashboard, and what you get as part of the service as well.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what we do. We created a tool that helped me as a revenue manager for you or for any brand to do the job right and fast as possible. So because most of the existing tools on the market, they try to be like sales dashboard. It's very useful to see what's going on, but they doesn't answer like my main question every day. How can I grow today? How can I make my business growing?
And then Oleg, in terms of pricing, this is something else I was really surprised by when I saw your graphs, and I think others watching today will also be surprised by. But in terms of pricing itself, can you show how price changes can benefit sales, and ultimately how sometimes even like reducing the price can increase profitability? But if you could just share a bit on that, how you track that and the graphs people can expect to see on that, or at the very least, how you're going to manage their pricing to boost revenue.
Yeah, this is exactly the case that we just seen, and we just drop the price here, okay? Again, it's not just a random, let's drop the price. It's an action that the easiest way to see the conversion improvement. We start to get much more organic sales because people see you and then click you and then it converts. This is actually the product launch that we get all the stages that I put you in this market share. So as you see, we started, this is a blue line here is a price. So when we launch, we put the price almost on like $50, and we end up on the 60. And again, in the beginning, On this chart you can see the green bars is organic sales and orange is PPC sales. In the beginning you have to put your price as down as possible and push as hard as possible to all of the keywords as I mentioned here on the strategy, find the right ones, and then you can see the green bars starting to stack up and grow, and then you start to get your organic sales. Basically your organic sales, this is your market share, so you're visible on the market, people see you without you paying Amazon by PPC. And again, pushing on the right keywords with the right strategy builds your market share, and then you can, when you have a lot of green bars, in this case like organic sales, you can increase the price and squeeze the profits that you're expecting.
Okay, and Oleg, can you show us the graphs where you decipher between organic sales and PPC sales? This is another area where a lot of sellers get confused, like how many of my sales are coming from PPC or organic. And then of course, if you have a really bad ACoS, that's going to impact profitability. But how much does it impact profitability? Because of course it's ACoS is specific to PPC, so it's impacting PPC ads, but it's not actually impacting your organic sales. So it's very important to know how many sales you're making through PPC versus how many you're making from your organic listing. It's going to end up affecting your profit margins. So knowing that difference is really important, and how many sales are coming from each. So if you could share that as well, please, Oleg.
This is the launch of the new product. Okay, so green bars, every day you see these green bars that explain how many units you sold organically. And the orange is units sold PPC daily, okay? In the beginning it was mostly orange bars, and then it gets to like green and green and green. This is a strategy, and in the lifetime of the star, you can put to PPC mostly 50% of your sales can be from PPC because you're pushing hard. But on the cash cow stage of the product, the best ratio is like 30% from PPC and 70% from organically. This is again, in most cases with some exceptions, but this is a general rule. And when you see that you're starting to get sales mostly from PPC again, so you're probably here on the dog stage and you have to adjust your offer. This is why we created aNavigator as a tool, because I didn't find any other tool showing me this way.
And so Oleg, looking a bit more at PPC itself, when it comes to PPC, that part of your revenue management structure, can you show us a little bit more about how exactly you're going to optimize the PPC for sellers and like the potential results that you've seen there in terms of optimizing PPC?
Actually, the PPC management getting more and more complicated every year. I remember when I started back in 2015, it was, I think, the first version of PPC on Amazon platform, and you get new dimensions every half a year. Now we have placement dimension, video ads, headlines, all the things together. Again, I can talk about it hours, but the main concept I would like to bring to your audience, and it's a mindset. Basically, you have a lot of segments. Okay, you have different keywords, you have different ad types, you have different placements, and so on. So it's like multi-dimensional matrix, and you have to find the places that do convert well and put your budget there. This is what we do in one sentence. This is a case, okay? Again, let me explain the chart. We have blue bars is a daily profit. A red bar is a daily PPC spend, ad spend. What we did on this November 1, I think we started, we just took the same budget, it was 1,000 a day, and we just put it on the right segments. We just refocused, recreated new campaigns and put it to the right places, and exactly the same daily budget of 1,000 bring profit from 500 to almost 4,000, like 8 times more. And again, the prerequisite for this thing is the conversion. If your listing doesn't convert, whatever you do with PPC just will never work, because it's like if you have a car and you didn't put any gear and you push your accelerator, it will create a lot of noise and spend your gasoline, but will never move you forward. So the first thing is the conversion.
Awesome, Oleg. And I think something that people will find relatable almost here is actually Amazon itself. If you guys look at Amazon itself, its business model, and for, what was it, 20 years, the company wasn't profitable or whatever it was. And that's because he was building revenue, he was building market share, he was building the business bigger. So it's not always the best thing to just reduce ACoS and increase profitability if you're leaving a lot of sales on the table, if you're leaving a lot of scale on the table. So at certain points, you want to manage that revenue differently. You want to increase revenue, gross profit, build the business into a bigger entity, a bigger space, bigger scale, take more market share, and then you can begin optimizing for profitability. But I really like what you've shared today, Oleg. I think a lot of you guys watching are going to see a lot of value in this. You've asked a lot about optimizing the business or feeling stuck or feeling like you're not optimizing certain things like PPC enough, or that you're leaving sales on the table, or that you have a great product, great reviews, but competitors outselling you. That's exactly what aNavigator is for. That's what they're looking to do through all these charts and graphs, is ultimately help you manage that revenue best. So thank you so much, Oleg, for joining us today. Are there any last bits of advice that you would give everyone?
I think my biggest advice to most of my small clients for now, then we talk to like clients up to like 7-figure and below, today it's all about building brand. Because like when we started Amazon 5 years ago, it was easy, one product, crazy launches and get a lot of profit. But today's the game, it's all about branding. Even if you launch a small product, you have to be at least look like a serious brand. It's an essential part of any Amazon launch is right branding.
Awesome, Oleg. I 100% agree with that. You guys watching know how much I promote brand building, all the brand videos. I actually link a brand video up here for you if you haven't seen that. But Oleg, I just want to thank you so much for coming on. I have partnered with Oleg, guys. I've worked with Oleg for a number of years now. I know him well. I know he's going to take care of you if you do join him at aNavigator. And actually what we've done is we partnered together. So any of you guys going through to Oleg, you just have to tell him that I referred you, and you guys are going to get 20% off. That's just kind of a bonus on the channel if you're a supporter of the channel. And thank you, Oleg, for that offer as well. But basically you're going to get 20% off aNavigator for the first month. If you want to try it out, test it out, see if it's a good fit for you. If you're feeling a bit stuck and you think this type of management will help you, definitely go check it out. I know Oleg's going to take care of you. But thank you, Oleg, again for joining us. And I hope you get a lot of new clients.
Yeah, thank you. My pleasure. See you soon.
All right, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button for us. It helps us get more viewers, gets us out to more people. But as always, hope you guys are keeping well. Definitely check this out if you're feeling stuck. But until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video.